Is it possible to know how much influence you have with the people around you? When you are leading a team, especially in church ministry, you soon learn that influence is your superpower. So how do you know if you have it? And how do you gain more influence with people around you? Well, I want to talk to you about how I've learned to gauge or measure the influence I have with people and how I continue to build more. Hey everyone, Matt here. Thank you for joining me for my YouTube channel, Pastor to Pastor, encouraging leaders in church ministry, community ministry. Whether you're on staff or you're a volunteer, I want to speak into your life. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like this, leave a comment, share it, help me build this because I'd love to see more people subscribe to this channel. And hey, I got my Army hat on. People wonder, did I serve in the Army? No. But I wear these little Army or Ranger outfits because my son Michael is an Army Ranger in the Army, and I'm so proud of him. So I just wear it in celebration of him and in honor of all the men and women who serve our great nation. So today I want to talk to you about influence. Now, the great Andrew Carnegie, or as I was watching a biography on him recently, Carnegie, he was Scottish. He wrote the famous book about how to influence people. Influence is a buzzword today in the marketplace, certainly in leadership, but it is a very real phenomenon. And we all understand position and authority and directive leadership. One author, Stephen Covey, calls it command and control. Do it because I told you to, or else. Do it because you're paid. I'm your boss. But he also talked about trust and inspire, which really speaks of influence. And so I want to just talk about influence because many positions I've had have had authority where I could hire or fire or give directives. And even now I'm in a position that I do have some directive position, but most of my position is accomplished not through direction or position, but through influence. What is influence? It is the ability to persuade somebody to think like you think. It's persuasive. It's suggestive. And so influence, there's so many things about it, but I thought to myself, once you realize and you buy into whether you have position or you're a leader or you have the platform or microphone or you're just behind the scenes with no position, and many biblical leaders like Joseph in Egypt started with no position. Jesus in the New Testament in Jerusalem, he had no earthly position. He had kingdom position. And so these men and women in the Bible are great examples, understood the power of influence. So when you realize that you're going to be most effective by building influence with people, I've often wondered if we could measure how much influence we may have with one person, this lady, this man. How could you measure that? You could measure position like I'm the superior, you're the subordinate, or I'm the pastor and you're the church member. But how do you understand influence? And like if we could look at somebody in our lives that we're leading, let's say a volunteer who they don't owe you anything. If you could rate on their head, how much influence do I have on a scale of 1 to 10? Isn't that crazy? Or maybe it's an employee that they have to do what you say because you're the boss. But with them even, how much influence do you have on a scale of 1 to 10 on their forehead? Well, here's what I think and what I've learned in my own life. I can measure the amount of influence I have by the most difficult things I can ask them to do. I can measure and I can sense how much influence I have by the response they have, not when, hey, you're getting a raise, or hey, you get to preach this weekend, or hey, you can have a day off. That's not influence. That's ice cream. Anybody will appreciate a gift or an affirmation or celebration, where you really start to see how much influence you have with someone, and whether volunteer or paid, is, can I ask you to do something that you disagree with, or that is difficult, or it's a weak muscle, or there's some hurt feelings there? I have so many great friends that I've worked with, both where they worked under me, but then they don't work under me as an employee, they work with me. And there have been times when I've had to go and talk about something difficult, or there was a disagreement we had, or they heard something and I heard something, and so we talked, and I was so thankful that I had this bridge of influence that held the foundation, listen, of our relationship. The secret of building influence is building relationship. Relationship is this bridge of trust that you can walk to and say, hey, I heard, are you upset? I'm upset. There's some hurt feelings. I disagree. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. But because of relationship and influence, I'm open to listening. I'm assuming the best. I want you to win because I know you want me to win, and together we can figure this out. Oh, that has helped me through the decades of church ministry. And so what I do to build influence, and this is very important, I want you to pay attention. You can't build influence when there's a disagreement. You can't build influence when you hear of gossip. You can't build the influence when you're having the confrontation. It's too late. It's too late. It's kind of like playing cards and already having your cards on the table. Once the cards are displayed, it's too late to play strategy. So here's when I build influence. I build influence before I need it. Oh, I'm giving you some gold here right now, free of charge. I spend time every week going and building influence with people, to celebrate them, to serve them, to talk with them, to listen to them, to receive them, to build moments and experiences outside of the position and the work. I serve them. I help them win. I relate with them. I share part of my life. I'm vulnerable with them, and then I'm non-judgable with them when they're vulnerable with me. I'm building this precious treasure of trust that becomes this strong bridge, a foundation, because I just know sooner or later there's going to be hurt feelings, disappointments, disagreements, or I'm going to be sent in. A lot of times in ministry, as I get older, I'm sent in to fix bigger problems with more difficult people. I'm like, why are you sending me to the struggling team or the struggling ministry? Why are you sending me to the person that no one else wants to work with? Again, it reminds me of Joseph in Egypt. Go to Potiphar's house. Go to the prison. Talk to the Pharaoh. Work with the baker. Work with the cupbearer. He was dealing with difficult situations and difficult people all the time. And it forced him to build influence by adding value, living a life of authenticity and holiness and consistency, and serving other people. And so I can't, as you can see, my passion of this, I can't overstate this enough, that if you will spend time before you need influence to build influence, it will serve you when you're in there and you say, I have to ask you to do something difficult. An example is in my new role, I called no less than 30 church staff members on my team. Well, they weren't on my team. They were part of our bigger church. I had no real authority over them. They didn't have to take my call. And it was something that was administrative that they didn't want to do. And I was able to talk about it in a directional way, but I had enough influence with people that they answered my call, answered my text. You want to know if you don't have enough influence with people? Here are some signals. They don't return your emails. They don't answer your phone calls. They take days to return texts. Look at their body language. Are they leaning out or leaning in? Is there a smile? Is there a stare? Do they first talk relationship stuff with you or first talk business with you? That's a big one. If they talk business and functional, there's no influence there. If they talk about the golf game and Christmas and family and whatever happened first, that's a good sign. I'm going to brag on one of my friends who's a pastor. One of the best people who has built influence in his church campus, in our organization, is DJ Cabrera, pastor at Vero Campus. He, whether he realizes it or not, is building influence with people by serving them, bringing them joy, supportive, friendship, authentic, fun, healthy, successful, solves problems, doesn't bring needs, brings solutions. And so when there is a little bit of, people are like, let's talk, friends, you're fine, you're good. I'm like, everybody likes you. He has learned to build influence before he needs it. Hope this helps you today. Be an influence leader, not a positional leader. And measure how much influence do I have with them. And if they're not responsive to you, start building influence the next few months. And you're going to see that number on their forehead go from 3 to 4 to 5 and maybe 6, 7. Hey, have a good Thanksgiving. Subscribe to my channel, share it, help me get some more subscribers. God bless you.